we go. So, Tris, what is your question today?
I would like to know, to review my project here.
Okay, this is a 6-bedroom in Limongan, yeah?
Okay.
Ooh, right. Okay, so this is interesting. This is a very interesting kind of thing because the location is near the port and similar properties are around $30, but they don't have a
This is
pool.
from Bayu.
Okay, so Bayou's made this.
Bayu, yeah. Well, we do it together to do observation in Airbnb.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Oh, this looks like one of ours, but it's not.
Mm.
Oh my God, people are taking really.
Yeah.
That looks exactly like our photo. I think somebody took our photo. I don't know about that.
Don't know,
All right.
but,
Okay, Kata. Okay, somebody's pretty talented over there. Which new? Okay. All right. All right. So conclusion is, all right. So this is how you're doing the revenue projection. So Bayou's done this, and you're observing in this place, right? So okay. Your observation is that it's near the port, walking distance, and it's in a developed area with restaurants, ATMs. It's easy to get around everywhere by motorbike. Motorbike is 100,000 a day. There's public transport. On-site staff can be arranged. Okay. All right. This is not good occupancy, and it's for the next 2 months. Let's take a look at some of this, right? So what we want to figure out is essentially what is the possibility for this to get a rental. I would say the very first thing you should probably have is a plan. Let's see.
So this is from Airbnb, right? So
Mm.
mostly in Lembang and Cheningan, they use Booking.com.
Okay. Well, you don't really know that actually, because let's take a look at this. Did you think this place uses Airbnb or Booking.com?
Airbnb.
Right. How do you know that?
From this one.
Right. There's 73 reviews. There's 73 reviews, and also you also know something else. Is this a good price or not?
For the property.
Mhm.
So these are the things.
I would disagree. I see something on there that is my data point for disagreement. Why is $30 not the greatest price?
Yeah, because the occupancy is not
Okay, that's one. But the other part,
qualified.
yeah. How do we know that the price isn't great? Right here, sir. Value. Usually the value is the lowest score. Location is great. Accuracy is 4.5. Communication 4.5. But the value is low. The value is 4.3. That means whatever they're priced at, the guests feel like they could find something better. The value point could be higher. Same here. This value point is also pretty low too. And this has a pool as well. So they're asking for $46 with the pool, and the value point is seen as a 4.3 as well. Okay, let's take a look at this one. This is $21, right? It's got 41 reviews, but the value is perfect, right? Occupancy isn't great, but then the occupancy, I don't know why occupancy is not great. Occupancy is certainly better than here. Right?
Because the low season, right?
Yeah, it's probably low season. Which tells you what? Sorry? There's a clue here. What does this tell you?
The clue above? The clue above? The clue above?
I have no idea what you just said. Can you say that again?
You said that there's a clue, right?
There's a clue. There's a clue.
The clue above.
There's a clue about whether or not these are the correct prices. Do you believe that these are the correct prices?
Yeah, because there's no booking now.
There's no booking.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what we do is this. Are you familiar with the idea of runway or lead time? Okay. So lead time, what it means, Tris, is what is the time between the time you book and the time you arrive?
Then you book, then you
Right. So between the lead time, we can figure out what essentially is the correct lead time for Nusa Penida. So if the lead time in Nusa Penida is, we'll call that a booking window, right? If we see in Nusa Penida,
It's like instant.
no. Instant book is different. Instant book is somebody is booking now, and they're ready to book, but they might not come now.
Okay.
They might come, 2 weeks later.
Yeah, that's not okay.
It's not like Gojek, right? You book it now, you need it now. Sometimes you book it now, but you need it 2 weeks from now. So what you would do is you would kind of start looking at this graph. So this is the
And booking
2009
window, yeah.
booking window, and you're looking at the blue line,
Yeah.
Nusa Penida. Well, the good news is that it seems like a lot of bookings are happening. You have 12 bookings with a booking window of 4 days away, 5 bookings with a booking 10 days away. So this is really interesting, Trish. What this is telling you is that there's quite a lot of people in Nusa Penida in October that are booking way in advance. 24 bookings happen in Nusa Penida with 24 days before arrival, right?
Yeah.
So what you're showing here is 7 bookings happened today, 3 days before arrival. 12 bookings happened today,
That's
4 days before arrival. 10 bookings happened how many days before arrival?
5.
7 bookings happened how many days before arrival?
6.
Right. 7 bookings happened how many days before? 8 bookings happened
8, 7.
7 days before arrival. If you really look at that, what you'll see is this. Let's take a look at the data on that. So what you'll see is that these people are checking in this person is checking in on the 6th. They booked on the 28th. This person is checking in on the 10th. They booked on the 2nd. This person is checking in on the 10th. They booked on the 2nd. This booking came in on the 8th.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're booking essentially 7 days before they actually arrive, 7 whole days. So what you know now is that you have quite a lot of people making very planned bookings. These are all people who are planning very long into the future. These are people who are making bookings last minute, right? So that's for Nusa Penida. What do you expect it to look like for Canggu? Do you expect more planning or less planning?
That's the thing.
Less planning. So what would it look like?
Seems like.
No, it would look probably fatter here and lower into the future in Canggu.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so let's take a look and see if that's what we see. That's what we expect. That is what is it called when we expect something? That's our hypothesis. That's our hypothesis. So let's see if our hypothesis is correct. Interesting. Not necessarily. We have 3 people making bookings, 2 people making bookings 3 days before arrival, 4 people making bookings, 7 people making bookings 4 days before arrival, so on and so forth. In fact, we can't even see. Last minute. Let's include last minute. Okay, let's include last minute. Boom! Wow, do you see that? That changed everything.
Yeah.
We have 93 people. Is that right?
We're looking right now. Today.
93 people made a booking for Canggu? I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right at all. I think that's okay. All right. So when we don't believe the data, then we have to do something. We have to copy this, and we have to make a bug report, right? So this is part of being a good
There's a
citizen.
bug. There's a bug.
Okay. Why do I think it's not right? Why do you think it's not right? 93 people made a booking,
Booking windows.
0.
0. Yeah.
Do you believe that? Do you think that 93 people booked today? Well, if that's true, then our booking pace today would not be 34. It'll be like crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I think we have a bug.
93.
And this is booking window accuracy, right? So this is related to the screenshot that we just took,
Yeah.
and we need to ask the question. Now the question is, well, not what happened. That's not very helpful. It shows. Oh wait, is this good or bad? Is this a good graph or a
Yeah.
bad graph? Is this good or bad?
When it's true, it will be good. When it's a bug, it's not good.
All right, but is this enough information for Bayu to understand? If I show him this, do you think he'll understand what's going on?
No, no, that.
Why?
Well, if it is not, this is not for what's like explanation.
Right. There's no explanation, and it's not even a good graph. Why is it not a good graph?
Yeah, but it is
It's not complete.
incomplete.
Not complete. Why is it not complete? The reason it's not complete, Tris, is because you need to show the entire graphic, right? So he doesn't know what area that's for, and he doesn't know what's going on, right? So you have to copy the entire thing. So now you can take that new graphic and you can show that in and say, I don't believe this graph is correct. It shows 93 people made a last minute booking 0 days before arrival, but today's booking count is only 0 before. Oh wait, but is it possible? Let me see. Let me see if it is possible, right? It might be possible. Why?
Might be possible.
It might be possible. Might be possible. Why? It might be possible. Let's take a look. Oh no, it's not possible. It's not right. Not correct. Why is it not correct? I already see why it's not correct. No, it's the check-in date. You see, the check-in date is all. It's not today's date. Today's October 14th, right? These check-in days are all wrong. So something is not quite right. It's not filtering the right way. So then we can go to the bug report and we can tell them again that
more evidence.
more evidence. We can put that in again. And this is how you work together in a team, right? So you let buyer know that essentially this is not correct. And also, the check-ins from the data record are from dates before today. So, not sure why they're being counted as last minute bookings. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. Now we've dug really, really deep, right? So we need to come back out again. So let's come back out and ask ourselves this question. What does it look like for our Nusa Penida? Do you expect there to be a lot of last minute bookings in Nusa Penida or no? Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of last minute bookings. Once again, we have to ask the data record, but it looks like the majority of people are booking 0 to 1 day ahead. All right, so when you go back to your revenue management projection here, which is over, when you go to your projection and you see this empty, are you concerned about it or no? Okay, you could be concerned about it because based on Bukit Vista graph, what should you see? You should,
Last minute booking.
you should see a lot of last minute bookings, which would explain, let's say, if this dates are being booked, right? But you should also see some future bookings too as well, right?
Okay.
So this one, you don't see any last minute bookings, right? But you don't see any future bookings either. And so that part is a little bit troublesome. Hey, Gadi, what's
Hi,
up?
sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Very
Gadi,
good.
we're reviewing some revenue projections that Trishna has made in Nusa Penida. And so we're discussing basically what data to use.
Okay.
What property?
This is a new property called.
There's no 6-bedroom in Lagongan. There's no name yet.
No equivalent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it 6-bedroom guest house or 6-bedroom single unit?
Single unit.
Single unit. So like.
In Salembongan, not Penida.
Is it Lambongan? Okay. All right.
Oh.
Is this
Like
one?
Bungalow.
Bungalow.
Yeah, bungalow.
Is this like Charita India, like all in one place, or is it separate?
All in one place.
Like a guest house, basically.
Yeah.
Does it have a pool?
Yeah.
Okay, it has a pool. Okay, so what you're trying to do, essentially, is you're trying to figure out Oh, Gunny, we're gonna need you to mute out, yeah?
Sorry.
Gunny, we're gonna need you to mute for a second, yeah? Because the background is picking up. Okay. So we're looking in Limeland, and what are you looking to get actually right now? You want to find the price per room per night, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're trying to sell six bedrooms separately.
Just like this. Like this one.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're trying to find it separately, and you're trying to find if your pricing is correct. Okay. Let's take a look at this one then. Let's see if this is good. Okay. First thing you have to be careful of is, are you comparing the right properties?
Okay.
And then second thing, I would say this, before you observe, before you look at competition, you need to have a goal, right? So keep your objective, so to speak. I think your objective is to find the starting price point, right, for the new property, okay? And to be able to do that, you have to find the closest alternative to your property, okay? So what that means is this, you don't need to find everything in New Zealand. You just need to find, if somebody doesn't book your property, what are they gonna book instead? Does that make sense? Like, let's say you go to the store and you can't find a bintang, right?
Yeah.
So what will you buy instead?
Singaraja maybe.
Maybe you buy a Singaraja. Gani, if you go to the store and you can't find aqua, what will you buy instead?
Aqua? What is it? Sorry.
Aqua, you know water, sir.
Oh,
Aqua.
aqua. Oh, I see.
If you go to the store and kalau aqua udah habis, Anda akan beli apa?
Use 1,000.
No. What is it? What's the name? Nestle. From Nestle, what is it? I forget the name.
Prima.
Okay, you buy another brand of water, right? Okay,
Yeah.
Cynthia, if you go and let's say you're unable to find a, what does Cynthia do? That's very Cynthia. Let's say you go to buy some shoes at Uniqlo and they are habis. Where do you go instead?
Sports station.
Sports station. Great. So this is the idea. You don't need to go and find a survey of everything in the marketplace. That's a waste of your time. All right. All you have to do is you just go and you find what is the closest equivalent to what you're looking for. If you're looking for a shoe, let's say Cynthia, she can't find the shoe that she's looking for at Uniqlo. Is she going to go to the men's shoe department at Matahari and start looking for Oxford dress shoes? Is Cynthia going to go to Matahari and look for men's dress shoes?
Yeah.
No, she's not, right? Cynthia is not going to go to a department store and look for men's shoes if she can't find the shoes that she wants, right? She's going to go and look for women's shoes, sports shoes at a sports station, okay? Does that...
Just say I'm escape today.
No worries. Okay. So this is, when you do your competition analysis, don't look at everything. Just look at the things that are the correct parameters. When Gani goes to the store and he can't find Aqua, then he goes with that Nestle brand, right? So he doesn't go and buy Coca-Cola because he's looking to buy water, right? He doesn't go and buy a gallon of water because he's looking to just buy a bottle, right? So when you compare, make sure you're comparing according to the correct criteria. And so let's talk about the criteria to compare against. What's the first criteria you should think about? Tris?
This, unless I have the same, what should I say? Probably same, looks same, like mirror property.
Okay, what makes it a mirror property? Gunny?
Yes, sir. This is alternative to your property. In 6 bedroom, yeah. I see the book paradise.
Okay, but this is more general. This is just 6 bedrooms in a guest house complex, right? And we're talking about the characteristics that make a good mirror property. So what are the characteristics that we have to look at? How do we know if a property is a mirror property or not? We have to look at...
The first is the bedroom amount and then the nearest location.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the facilities. Yeah, I think 3 point is the most.
Fantastic. Okay. What is the other thing that you should probably think about too?
Price.
Price. Okay. Price is a little bit hard because we're looking to determine the price from the mirror property. So it's hard to find the price if you can't find the mirror at first. Okay. Don't look for price. Look for this. Look for the what is quality divided by price called? Quality divided by price. What is the word for that?
Quality value.
Yeah. Quality divided by price is value. And the way to determine value is just pretend for a moment that you're a guest. Just pretend. Would you buy this or would you buy that? And just ask yourself the question. If it's not something that you think would be equivalent, that's probably a good thing. And value has essentially a aesthetic factor, right? So there is an aesthetic factor about value that is very personal. The design. Like something that looks really cool, like this. I'll show you something that looks awesome. This is Chamaya. Chamaya is located in Karangasem. It's located in Bekasi. And it's amazing. And it's amazing because it has this beautiful net bed that overlooks the rice paddy. People love it. People go there, they take Instagram photos, and they really fall in love with it. And why is it so amazing? It has the same number of bedrooms as other places. It might have the same location as something else. It might be whatever it is. But there is something about Chamaya that a lot of people really like. And that is hard to capture if you are just looking at a bedroom location value comparison.
Maybe the highlight the five star rating.
Okay, highlights the 5-star rating.
Yeah.
Let's go to Tris. What do you think is the difference between Airbnb and other platforms?
Airbnb. There's only. I think there's only 3 clicks.
Okay, 3 clicks to get to a booking. Okay, all right. Let's go to Shinthia. Shinthia on mic. What do you think is the difference between Airbnb and other platforms?
The experience that Airbnb.
Yes. I think it's getting there. The true difference between Airbnb and other platforms is highly related to the experience. It's the overall satisfaction score of that experience. So that's why an experience by the beach can be placed next to an experience by the rice paddies. These actually have no commodity equivalent. If it was booking.com, these two would never appear in the same next to each other. One would be here, one would be next to it, and you would just simply see things next to each other. Now, okay, the question is why? Why is Airbnb sorting it out this way rather than like booking.com, putting all the 3-star properties together and all the other properties together?
Because what Airbnb tried to offer is the experience, right? Not only the price, like the price or the stars of the property itself.
Yes, Airbnb is looking at experience rather than a fixed review rating. So think of it this way. Think of if you go to a Michelin restaurant. Does everyone know what a Michelin restaurant is? A Michelin restaurant is kind of like TripAdvisor, or not like TripAdvisor, it's kind of like these old guidebooks where there's an expert telling you what your score is, right? So a Michelin guide is written by the Michelin people, and they go to the restaurant, they review the restaurant, and they give it a 3, 2, or a 1 Michelin star. That's great, but I'm not an expert, right? I don't eat at Michelin restaurants every day. So I might not agree with you, but if what TripAdvisor has done is essentially, well, we just leave it up to you guys, right? We leave it up to you guys to decide what is actually 1-star, 2-star, and you rate it yourselves. So there's far more, it's a little bit more natural and organic because Booking.com and the other platforms are traditionally adapted for hotels. Hotels are rated 1-star, 2-star, 3, 4, 5, not according to the guests, but according to a body of people who go and they say, does your hotel have this amenity? Does it have that amenity? Does it have this? Does it have this? And overall, let's be honest, does that really affect your stay? Having a gym is absolutely necessary to be a 5-star hotel. How many people are in the gym? Mulia has a huge gym. I never see anybody at the Mulia gym. I'm not going to Mulia every day, but whenever I do go there, I see that there's nobody in the gym. So why do they need to have a gym to be a 5-star experience? If your guests aren't even using the gym, how is that going to add to a 5-star experience? Where are your guests all day? If they're not even in your hotel, why are you a 5-star hotel, right? If they go to your hotel simply to sleep, then the only thing that makes you a 5-star hotel is your bed, right? And so, once again, these traditional rating systems are a little bit broken because they are very presumptuous. They are assuming that this is what the guest wants, but they don't take into account what guests are actually leaving feedback for. So, okay, so when we make our comparison set, this part is really important. You really should take a look, and this part is the hardest part to figure out. What is the experience quality like? What is the experience quality like? And so when we look for a mirror property, take a look at it. See what kind of experience quality that you are essentially battling against. Let's take a look at what Trish has created to sort of support his mirror properties. So the first one is, okay, it's interesting, right? It's 2 bedrooms, 1 bedroom, and it's in the same vicinity. What do we know about is this a good mirror property, Tris?
Yeah, because near the beach first.
Okay.
And
Is the property that we're looking at near the beach?
near the beach?
Okay, it's also near the beach. Does it have a beach view?
No, not beach.
Ah, okay. It doesn't have exactly the same experience then, right? Okay, all right. But what does this property not have?
It's probably, I think this probably not have pool.
Okay, it doesn't have a pool. Okay, so that's okay. It's not a perfect fit, but let's keep it, right? Let's keep it because we don't know what else we're going to find. Maybe we don't find anything equivalent, and this will just have to do. Let's go to the next property. Oh, this is the same property, but on the calendar now. Now, the price is $30. So let's go to result. Is $30 a good deal for this property?
With no pool?
No, well, I'm just asking, is $30 the correct price for this property?
I think yes.
Okay, I think not. And let's go over to Dominic. Dominic, what do you think? Do you think Rizal's right or am I right? But why? And why?
For the location you didn't have.
Is this price correctly priced? Is this property correctly priced?
That's blue.
There's a clue here. Yeah, Tristan has a clue because we already talked about it. Pretend you're a guest. If you're a guest, how would you decide if this was actually the correct price for this property?
No, I think it's not the correct property because like it's valuable for the view, but the place itself is not really.
Wrong.
that good.
Okay.
Really?
All right. Let's go to Gunny. Gunny, if you're a guest and you're looking at this, how do you know if $30 is the right price or not for this property?
I think that's not correct because the calendar is empty.
Okay.
So I think that there is no one booking there because the price is too high. I think
Okay.
yeah.
Very good. Gunny's used a piece of evidence here to determine if you don't want to be the first to pay $30 and nobody else pays, right? That would be bad. But you're not the first. Actually, you're not the first. Cynthia, how do you know if $30 is the correct price for this property or not?
I will look at the reviews and also the rate.
How do you know if $30 is the correct price then from the reviews? There's one number that will tell you if it's the correct price.
About the total reviews, there are 73
No,
reviews.
no, that isn't it. Look, guys, it's right here. Cynthia is partially correct. You're partially correct. There is a lot of reviews, so it does demonstrate that transactions have been happening. But what you need to look at is this particular review right here. You see that? Value. All right, value is a 4.3. That means most people don't think that they got what they paid for, right? That it's kind of like, I'm not entirely happy. And that happened 73 times. Go to Gunny. Yes, Gunny.
But I think above 4 is good, sir. But
Do you think?
what do you mind?
Okay.
4.3 is not good enough.
Well, look at this one, right? This one is 325, and its value is 4.8, right? So how do you? Let's look at this one, right? This one's 329, and the value is 4.5, right? So what you're looking at is this is a pretty budget product, and it's not delivering a lot of value. That means people don't feel like they're getting what they are paying for. And it could be, yes, it could be like maybe in that category, there is no value leader yet. You know? Yes, Gani.
So the standard is 4.5. So
I think it really depends, Gani. It's actually the real answer to that question is it depends if there's a leader. So let's say, for example, when you get Bakso, right? You go down the street, you spend 8,000, you get a Bakso, and you're pretty happy with it. So what do you give it? You kind of give it a 4, maybe, some people give it a 5. So in the end, it makes it a 4.2. But let's say somebody makes their Bakso out of lobster, right? And they sell it for 8,000. And then you have a lobster box over 8,000. You're like, whoa, 5-star value, right? That is amazing value. So sometimes it is like nobody is really going for the value market. Nobody's creating something that somebody feels like is, wow, that's amazing. So maybe there are no go value points at that particular market, right? But you could be that value leader too as well. You can be a location leader. You can be a cleanliness leader. You can be a value leader. You can be a communication leader, a check-in leader. But in one of these factors, it really depends. 4.2. Does that sound like if you picked a Gojek driver and he was a 4.2 value, would you pick him or would you shop around and get a 4.5?
I just went for 4.5.
Yeah, you kind of would like, okay, all right, this is fine, but okay, so you know something. You know that $30 is an okay price because it's been booked maybe 73 times, but maybe not. Maybe it was booked at $15 before because the price shows what it's priced today. It does not show what the price was before. All right? Okay, so you do know $30, okay, 4.2 value. So not exactly mirror, but okay, that's one piece of data just hold in your head. Now go over to the next piece. Next, go over to the, okay, all right. So we have 4.3, all right, and then we take a look at the next one. Is the next one a mirror property? Let's go over to Rizal. Rizal, do you think this is an equivalent property to the property that we're dealing with right now?
Yes.
Okay, Rizal says yes. Trish, do you agree with him? Is this an equivalent property to the property that we're trying to find a projection for?
Yeah, I think yes.
Okay, all right. Why? Why? Let's just look at the data. It has one bedroom. It's in North Nusa Lembong. It has Wi-Fi pool and it has a recycled furniture look. That's all we really know. We don't even have the pictures of this, right? So we just know that. Do you think it's an equivalent property or no?
I think it's too luxury.
You think this one's too luxury or the one that we have is too luxury?
This one
This
is
one's
too
more
luxury.
luxurious. Well, it's hard to know without pictures, right? The hardest part to evaluate is this experience quality factor. We really can't evaluate that without having some photos. Do we have any photos?
Yeah,
We have some photos. Where can we find photos?
So in Taylor.
In Trello. Okay, so we'll go over to Trello and let's try to find if we can find some photos. But even without looking at the photos, problem, Gani?
3 guys, yeah.
This fits 3 guests, yeah. Yeah, this fits 3 guests. So it's not exactly the equivalent because this has slightly larger capacity than the one that we have. Okay, but we can see kind of what people are doing, right, in Nusa Penida. You can see sorry, there's too many of these tabs. Let me close this. Don't forget to read that, everyone. Okay, squad SLAs. All right, we can see essentially, I think what's happening is everybody's pricing at $15 a person, all right? 3 persons for $45, 2 persons for like $30. Yeah, that seems to be the going rate these days in Nusa Penida or Nusa Lembongan. But okay, where do I find this card, sir?
Squad 4.
Squad 4. Squad 4 is over here.
Yeah.
Market building funnel.
Market building funnel.
All right, so let me go ahead and look for 4. Squad 4, market building funnel. Let's take a look at the picture and see if the pictures are the same. Yes, sir. Okay. Oh, wow. There's that many in Penida? We should be there all the time now. Lemongan. We should be over there. Oh, that's it. That's it. You just passed it. That's it, right? 6 bedrooms? No? That's not it?
There.
Oh, no. There's another 6-bedroom one. Okay.
This one.
Okay. So it's hard to tell, but I guess that's the photo right now of what we're looking at. And it looks, okay. All right. Okay, interesting. Hey, there's Trish. Okay, so let's take a look at the photos. This guy has an oblong swimming pool, has a forest setting. It's got a bungalow lifted off Panggung sort of style. It's got recycled furniture. It's a wood cabin. The wood cabin is not a super high quality because I see holes in it, right? So it's not like super tight, but it's okay. Right, so then let's take a look back at the projection. Is it the same look as this? No. Why?
Do with this high quality.
The wood is a little bit higher quality here, and also they seem to have a living space and a reception space, and the pool looks a lot bigger, right? So I wouldn't call it the same. So okay, we know this is probably a slightly superior product, right? So whatever we price our property at, it should probably not be above 46. Because most likely these guys will eat our lunch at 46.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Next one is this is a $21 property, right? This is $21 for 2 guests.
But that's no.
No pool. But let's take a look. Wow! What do we know about the value?
Yeah, from the price we pay, they pay. Then
Can we see number of shit? 41 we review 571.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow. All right. So that tells us something. That tells us just $10 changes your whole entire outcome, right? So $10 goes from being like not good value to super good value. Now, if you take a look at the calendar, what else do you see, guys? Let's go to Dominic. What do you see on the calendar that you did not see on previous calendars?
It's empty on November, almost all environment.
But it's got some bookings now. The other properties didn't get any bookings in November.
November, yeah.
So if you look at November over here at the previous one, no bookings in November. Oh, actually one booking, sorry. And this one has no bookings. The very first one had no bookings. And it was on the beach. So you can see that, is this on the beach?
No.
No. Okay, this is not on the beach, but it's still getting bookings at $21. And it kind of looks the same, right? In terms of the actual construction. Look, it looks almost identical. It's like a wood house.
Pretty much
Right?
the same, yeah.
Except it doesn't have a pool, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have an idea now. Now you have a lower boundary. You know that you can price probably above 21 and get a pretty good value score, right?
Okay. I see. I get it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, now you know a little bit more where your thing is. Okay, very good occupancy at $94. Wow, now this is crazy. This is
I think this is a villa.
okay. This is a villa, and is this a good comparison property?
No.
Why not?
Really, this is a villa, right?
Okay, it's a villa, and why else not? But what makes a villa a villa? Let's go to Rizal.
Villa is one home with private for only for the guests.
Okay, all right. I think there's a better definition for a villa. Really, from an experience point of view. Let's go over to Dominic. What do you think is a villa? Or let's not even use the word villa. Let's say a high quality property. What is the basic sort of rubric for a high quality property?
Like, bring a pride that you can stay there and also
Pride, right?
experience, yeah.
Okay, that you can stay there. Okay, more. Let's go over to Cynthia. What do you think is the fundamental quality that makes a high quality accommodation? Cynthia, I can't hear you. That's what. I still can't hear Cynthia. Hey, Cynthia, Gani, I noticed you guys have lost sound. Try to re-enter. Yeah, refresh. I don't know. Yeah, somehow we lost your sound. And my mic is turned all the way up. Okay, great. Yeah, heard you good. Okay, let's go to, okay, so,
Results.
no, I already asked results.
Please.
Okay, Cynthia.
Hello.
Yes,
Hi.
now I can hear you.
Okay.
What fundamentally makes a higher quality property than another?
Privacy.
Privacy. Okay, kind of there. There's one thing that really makes, let's say, a place better than another place. Let's go-
Exclusive. Exclusive.
kind of.
Feeling
The-
like home.
Okay, kind of. You're all around the same thing. Let's go to Gani.
It's facilities.
Okay, these are ingredients. All right, they're not the final output. The final output is much more guest centric, not property centric. It's think about the guest. Think about the guest, right? What is it about guest behavior that will determine if it's a really high quality accommodation or not? We had this debate a long time ago about what makes a villa.
Experience.
Yes, it is related to experience. It's related to how much time would you actually enjoyably spend in the property.
Yeah.
Enjoyably spend, not like you're just here because you have nowhere else to go, but how much time would you want to actually spend in the property? Think about a first-class plane ticket. A
Yeah.
first-class plane ticket is super expensive,
Yeah.
but why do people pay for a first-class plane ticket? Dominic,
Because they can enjoy the time.
of what? Of what?
Of the seat.
Of the flight.
Like that.
When you don't buy a first class plane ticket, you're hoping the flight will end soon, right? So you can get off the fucking plane, stretch out, have a shower, feel comfortable again, and be all comfortable. When you buy a first class plane ticket, they have a shower for you. They have a bed for you. They have great food. Your holiday begins when you go on that airplane. In fact, you might not even want to leave the airplane. It's so comfortable. Maybe you just want to spend your entire journey on that airplane. So a quality accommodation is essentially that. It's where you really enjoyably spend more time. If you have something that's really high quality, you might not want to leave. You're like, this is great. This is pretty much the only thing I want to do in New Zealand. So that's how you decide, right? And you decide yourself what that EQF is. Is this a place where somebody could possibly spend their entire holiday without leaving and still have a great time? If it is, then you get this, right?
Sorry, sir.
Yes, got it.
I have to leave.
No worries.
this
Okay.
meeting.
All right. All good, Gani. Thank you for announcing.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right. Why is this getting 5 stars? Because this fulfills that promise. You can conceivably spend your entire holiday here, looking at the rice paddies, feeling really connected to nature, talking to the whatever, doing your thing. Read these reviews, and people will tell you what they're able to do. And this is one of my favorite stays on my entire honeymoon. The house was immaculate. Staff was friendly. Everything needed on site. Games, Wi-Fi. We don't have games, right? Incredibly impressed with the food. Authentic, tasty, and beautifully presented. I have dreams about those banana pancakes. So fluffy and good. The drive from Mubo was not bad, and the drive took us to our next destination in Jimbaran, which is great. Amazing stay. Would highly recommend. So the quality of a stay, the quality of the place is related to how much time would you enjoyably spend in the place. Everything else in the property, you see this big, huge one Pekai air conditioner. You see this really cool bed light with like design. You see the pool. You see the comfortable bed. You see this tatami thing, carpet. You see these nice blinds. That's what it's there to do. It's there to make you enjoy and stay there longer. You see this bathroom is clean, not like barbarian style like our bathroom. So you could spend your whole day in that bathroom and not feel like it's a waste of your time. It feels inviting. So the end result should be the guests can comfortably spend more time in the property, and that's what they're paying for. That's essentially why they're paying more. Guests who don't want to pay a lot don't want to spend any time in the property. Done, right? So if you're looking at something, you're like, oh, I can spend maximum 5 minutes here before I feel like I want to leave, then nobody else is going to feel any differently, right? So that's probably what you're looking at. All right, let's take a look at that. So is this the same property or not? Probably not, right? And we can tell because we look at, let's say, the kind of amenities that our friends here are looking for. And do we see that kind of amenity being put in? Do we conceivably, I mean, this looks like a very short, very tight patio. It's not generous with space. I feel cramped there already, right? So it's not going to be, it's not somewhere I can sit for 15 hours, right? Or all day. It doesn't look comfortable. Not like this, right? This, I can probably stay there all day long and be very comfortable. Every touch point. Furniture is not a joke. Furniture implies how long somebody can stay there. And if you have furniture that looks like this, like this, maybe a cigarette break and that's it. And then I'd like to move on, right? The table isn't big enough to even work a laptop on. It's a very small table. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about drinking a coffee. I'm not even talking about eating breakfast on that table. That table is small. I don't even see there's no other chair that I can put next to it. So I'm going to eat breakfast, what, by myself?
There's another chair.
There's another chair, but that's a small space. I'm going to put 2 plates on there. So this is simply a cigarette break table. Maybe a coffee break table. It's not a sit down, linger forever kind of table, right? Okay, let's look at this. Kind of not a lot of amenities, smaller AC, probably will be a little bit warm, not perfectly cold. Okay, small bathroom. So that's how we know. That's how we know the quality factor. Okay, let's go.
I found a few bathrooms near you. The first one is Terrazzo Bathtub at Jalan Toku Umar Barat, number 335X, Karabokan, Kota Denpasar. The second one is
Hey, Google!
Langkar Jaya UD.
Stop talking. Okay, so if it's not an equivalent property, then we don't really need to look at it, right? But we can notice something that it's all booked out. But this is for August and July. I'm not sure why we're looking at August and July. Anyway, all right. Okay, next. Okay, so I would say delete this, right? This is not valuable for your, and it's just noise. It's it'll make you confused. All right, next one. This looks something kind of similar, right? I mean, when it finishes, it could be looking like that. But what makes this property different than the one that we have?
Amenity is
Amenities. What kind of amenities?
The furniture.
The furniture. What other kind of amenities?
Bigger floor.
What specific amenity did you see here, Dominic?
This one.
The sunken in day bed, right? It's a couch. Now that's a place you can spend all day reading, working on your laptop, lounging around. You can put your feet over here, sit there, work a little bit, pass out, work a little bit again, pass out, do whatever you do. So it invites somebody to stay a little bit longer. And it has all this precise lighting, it's pleasant, and it's well thought out. Okay, all right, great. So that is priced at $42. Everything else is about the same.
Yeah.
And let's take a look at the value point. Value point is great. Very good value point. Now, what I want you guys to know as revenue managers is this. Dominic asked me a question last week. What was the question you asked?
Last week.
Yeah.
Regarding which question in the revenue management?
Yes, you asked a question during revenue management. I believe it was during revenue management. Does anybody else remember that question? I know what the question was.
That's the risky question. Like, how we increase the
How we
increase the revenue?
Without
No,
lowering the
it's
price.
Yeah,
It's
without
risky, not mine.
Oh, that was Risky's question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
Just
so
let me.
okay, sorry. Wrong attribute. Okay, Risky's question was, how do you increase the revenue without lowering the price? The easy answer is this: value, right? You have to increase the value. If you don't increase the value, then raise the price. They don't put anything more in the box, though. You're gonna go, fuck that shit, right? If everyone does it, then you're out of luck, right? That's just the new value. Everyone is doing that. But if you're not, then you're really gonna have to think, what is value? Value is quality divided by price. So if your consumers are not buying your price, they're buying your value. If I have to pay $1,000 for an iPhone, well, it better be a fucking lot better than a $100 Xiaomi phone, right? If it's the same everything, why am I paying all this extra money for it? There's no value. But if it is better, then yeah, I will pay more, right? But then this is the other thing we have to remember. Is value inside our mind or is it inside the guest's mind? It's inside the guest's mind. Yes, sometimes value is just perception. People believe it's better, right? In certain countries, if you have, let's say, I'll give you an example. Interior design in Indonesia is fairly common, right? If you go down and you go to any district in Jogja or Bali, most cafes, most restaurants will have fairly good interior design. Interior design is very uncommon in the United States. The reason why is that it's expensive. It's really expensive to get people to come in, build the furniture, design compared to Indonesia. You go to a normal cafe, it looks like four walls and no murals, no painting, no hipster art. It's just shit furniture and no design, no anything, no rugs. It's just a place to drink coffee and go home. Plastic everything, plastic chairs, plastic tables. So by simply focusing on interior design a little bit, it's presenting value. It's presenting value because, hey, I don't see that very often where I come from. So when I see that there, I think of it as valuable. If you go on Airbnb and you look at, let's say, very, very fascinating interior design. So if you go to like a city like Marrakesh, right? Marrakesh, Morocco. Okay? And you take a look and you'll see all these different places that have a very unique design. They're called riads. So they're essentially enclosed spaces with usually a pool in the middle. And some of them are quite nice, right? This is a riad and it looks like this. Okay, I'll sort of go through it. So it has this design, it has Moorish design, it has a rooftop that you can look over the rooftop. You don't get to see that here in Bali, right? So that's something that's unique and different. And it has this really lush sort of... Yeah,
Casablanca.
right, Casablanca had this design. So essentially, and this is baklava, right? Baklava is not served here. It's patil, oh sorry, it's something else. It's actually another food. But you actually can demonstrate value. Like this might be very common in Morocco. Silver tea, mint tea with some pastries. But for you, as a traveler, it's actually something valuable because you don't get to experience that every day. In fact, you would only get to experience that if you went to Morocco. And so when we talk about value, we don't talk about what we want to buy. We talk about what the customer wants to buy and what they consider valuable. So when you think back on pricing and stuff, like this might not be, well, I want to spend my holiday hanging out on a net. but my guest might see that as being very valuable. So they're going to pay us a little bit more. So when you go back to look at your revenue projections and such, you can look back at something like this and you can say, well, why are people thinking that this has value? What is it about it? Well, let's take a look at the amenities. There's a garden, there's a lot of seating space outside, it's well lit, it looks bright, it's got a huge pool, it's got seating by the pool, it's got this built-in couch over here. That is probably what's giving people that sense of value. And if you don't know, then go back and read the reviews, right? Place is clean, saltwater swimming pool, comfortable beds, walking distance to a few perfect beaches. That's what builds the value, okay?
Yeah.
So that's how you know 42 is the right price for whatever you're selling. Okay, so this is good. So we know we're somewhere between 21 and 42 right now,
Yeah.
all right? So then essentially you can try to narrow it down maybe to this. Oh, here's another one, right? Here's another one that's a wooden bed. It's at 33. And let's take a look at the value point. And what do people say? There's not enough reviews. We can't tell. Okay, so this one is kind of useless. So let's take a look at this one. This one is another cottage in Nusa Penida, but it seems to have the same layout. Multiple bungalows around a small pool. It has a value point of 4.6, and it's priced at 49. Okay, all right. So once again, try to understand where you're going to be. You're going to be somewhere between probably $21 to $40 along the journey. So that gives you a comparison set. Okay, a lot of properties are using Booking.com, which is great. So we see that this one is given a 4.4 at 808. Naturella is 4.7. Each platform, in order to determine price, you have to compare what your competitors are on that platform and how to understand that. On Booking.com, I'm not an expert, so I won't speak any further on that. So I'll just create like what I know about Airbnb. Okay, so this is a correct conclusion. The property with a low price below $30 is not getting booked. Wait, no, that's not true. Okay, yes, okay, kind of, right? I would say, yeah, I have noticed that. There are two successful standards here. There is the $21 place with no pool, and that's getting booked, and people like that, give it good value. And then you have the places that are slightly above. Two regions where you can try to price this. You can go low around 20, but you can go a little bit higher around 42. What does that depend on? Tris, what does that depend on? If you're either in the $20 region or the $40 region?
Then
It really depends on the owner. It depends on the owner. If the owner is willing to make his place look more like this, right, then he'll probably get the higher price. Okay? If the owner is not going to do that and he wants to make his place look more like this, then he's probably going to get the lower price. I think the owner is probably going to do which one? The lower price or the higher price? The higher price. So the owner, all they have to do is make sure the pool looks pretty reasonably sized. The owner's just got to think about what his unique selling point is going to be. If you want to be something different, you can't do the same as this, because somebody who has to decide between 42 and yours is just going to look at whoever's cheaper. If I get everything the same, wood bungalow with a built-in couch with whatever this and this, then why am I going to pay 42 for yours, right? So put something different. Maybe suggest to the owner that he can put one of these net beds in there, and then that would make people fall in love with it, right? I can have a net bed overlooking the pool, or like a hammock, or whatever it might be, and that would get you on your way. All right, so we have 2 price points, and then we can start doing the projection. We have some internal data here, and what does this internal data show? For Nusa Penida. Okay, so it has monthly revenue for Nusa Penida, and then we have 10 units and units of Majesty, and what does this show us?
this is show occupancy rate.
Right, so the occupancy rate is good or bad?
For Nusa Penida, I think this is below.
It's all below 50%. It's not that great, right? If you see it, like sometimes we're at 9% in December. So what does that mean?
Only few units. So
Yeah, it means that we're not really selling enough. It means that the majority of what's in Nusa Penida is actually empty. It means that even at, let's say, $21 or whatever it might be, it probably will still be relatively empty. So, okay, you have that, and you can see some monthly revenue targets from Nusa Majesty. Okay, so there's the occupancy rate. And then you have a pricing. Now, tell me more about this, Tris.
okay. Let me show.
Okay,
let
so,
me show.
all right. Show us what this is about. I think this is embedded inside, so it will open inside Dropbox paper. What time is it? Oh, wait, it's almost 4 o'clock now.
No, it's not.
I know, it's 5. Yeah. All right.
How was it so far? It's good.
Ah, we need to request access. Okay. Where is this available to see? By you, right?
No, mine.
Yours. Okay. Okay. All right. We're a little bit unable to see, but let's see what their projections were. You projected 25 million on high and 10 million on low, and then at a base price of 640, right, for July, and a base price of 530 on August, and a base price of 586. Let's look at 586 IDR to USD, and your price basically at, I think, a little bit too high. You're priced at $41. All right. Do you feel like that is the correct price, Trish? Oh, Trish is not there. All right. So let's talk about that. Rizal, do you think that's a good introductory price?
I think no.
Okay, why not, Trish? Or why not? It's not this.
Yeah.
You mean this revenue is not correct? This pricing is not correct?
Not this one. Let us wait to.
Oh, we're gonna open this now, yeah? All right, we got projections. All right. I think the base price about 358. 358 is probably on the lower side. So it's about $25. I think that's a pretty okay.
Too low, probably, because
Okay.
they have a higher value compared to the property that have $21.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Rizal. What do you think about that?
Too low.
Too low?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's okay, I think. Start with a little bit low, because what you really want is you want traction. Think about it this way. If everybody's selling Buxo in a neighborhood and everybody's standard price is 8,000, if I go to that neighborhood and I want all the customers, will they start buying Buxo from me at 8,000?
No.
Yeah, what's the difference, right? You're selling Buxo just like everybody else onto the market, and I have no past guests yet.
Yeah.
I have no reviews yet. I have really nothing. I have nothing. And so my best way is I sell Buxo at 7,000, 6,000, 5,000, or I give Buxo away for free, or I sell it for 1,000. I sell Buxo for 1,000, and then guess what happens?
The guests will come.
Everybody's gonna come eat my Buxo on that day.
Yeah.
So I lose money maybe. Maybe I even lose money on the first day. But everybody would have tried my Buxo. And everyone knows that my
Yeah.
Buxo tastes good,
That's good, yeah.
and maybe it tastes even better than everyone else. And the next day I sell my Buxo for 7,500. And then everybody will come and buy my Buxo, right? Because they're still gonna go buy Buxo, right, at 8,000. But if they know my Buxo tastes like this, there's no risk anymore. There's no risk of maybe my Buxo sucks, and why would I choose somebody whose Buxo is shit compared to the one I already know, right?
Yeah.
So what you're really doing in the very beginning is you're stealing business from your competitors. You need to go and you need to steal business from everybody. You need to get somebody who goes, right, that place has 55 reviews, but you are just so cheap. You're so cheap, I have to go try this, right? And that does not get motivated over just a few percentage points. That usually gets motivated for a deep discount, like maybe 50% or 40% less. Then people go, hey, you know what? I'll try that out. That looks like a good deal. I'm going to go for it. And then you get your first review and people realize, oh, okay, it's good. It's not as bad as I thought. It's actually quite decent. So if you start at, let's say, the same price as everyone else, if you start at 42, then why would anyone book the $42 one that has no reviews? Fuck that shit, right? Questionable. Very questionable. There's no reviews, there's no value, there's nothing established. And it doesn't even look the same as the $42 one that can't sell at the same price. You have to sell for cheaper. You have to sell for cheaper to overcome that anxiety. Because all buyers have anxiety. They're not going to be the first person to try it out. Unless there's a great deal, right? Then yeah, sure. If it's half off, I'll come in and I'll try it out. All right, so you're starting at 358, so it's not a bad thing. It should be a little bit cheaper, and it should encourage your first people to start reviewing it. That's what you're buying. You're buying the reviews. Okay, so the projecting selling price is, let's say, oh, okay, this is the margin, and then this is the high. There's 3 different occupancy revenues, and then there's a difference. Okay, so we have essentially a different table. How did you get these numbers, Tris?
Okay. This is wrong revenue reference. This one, right? The price. What should I say?
But how did you come up with these? I understand everything below here,
Mm.
all these lines, but how did you come up with this number?
Okay. The minimum monthly revenue divided by.
Ah, right. I get it. Okay. You're coming up with this number in order to hit this and this. Okay, that's smart. Okay, let's go to result. Result, do you understand how we're coming up with the base price?
It's like divide this monthly revenue
Mhm.
to 61.
Okay. Divide that revenue by 31. Okay. So that's 645,000. Okay.
And then that's monthly revenue divided by 6 of unit divided by the occupancy rate.
Okay. Then times 0.2, yeah? Or 30%. Okay. That's exactly it. That's 358. Wow. All right. So essentially we're taking what the entire, we look at the goal first. The goal is to reach 20 million of revenue. We take that and then we divide it by 6 units times 31, which gives us a total number of room nights we have to sell. And then we assume that we're going to sell 30% of those room nights. So let's say the total number of room nights that we're going to sell. The total number of room nights we're going to sell is 180. That's the total available. We believe at a 30% occupancy, we can sell 54 of those room nights. Then we take the total goal, which is 20 million. All right, okay, it was a little bit less. Yeah, it was. Sorry again. Let's go good. Back to the thing. We have 30 room nights. We have 6 units, and we
No,
plan to
it's
sell
31,
30%.
sir. It was 31.
Oh, okay, maybe it was 31, right? Okay, 31. So 55.8. So we have to sell 55.8 room nights in order to reach our goal. So 55.8 times 358, 423 is what? Guess what? It's 20 million. Okay. All right, so that's a really interesting way to determine that.
It's this.
Yeah, that's at a lower estimate. And then if you
Okay.
target a higher estimate, and that's how these different figures are coming out, right? If you
Yeah.
get a higher occupancy, you get 40 million and such and such and such and such. I think this is good. I think this is a very decent way to actually work your way back
Yeah.
to find out what you want. And that will get you essentially the revenue that you're looking for. Okay, fantastic. So, cool.
Yeah, I'm learning much from you. That's why you school too.
Excellent. I hope you're learning a lot from here too as well. All right. That being said, I think that covered basically the way that we are essentially. Okay. What is the title of today's lesson? Let's go to Dominic. Let's see if you can summarize it. What would be the title of today's lesson?
Best practice of choosing roommate.
Okay. And what would you title this today, Tris?
Better understanding of revenue protection.
Okay. What would you title it, Result?
Calculate
Just it's like hashing.
calculate the new properties.
Calculate the new properties. Okay. All right. I understand what you're like. Finding matching properties. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Cynthia, what would you call this today's? How would you give the title of today's discussion?
How to wait. How to choose how to determine your property.
Accurate revenue forecasts based on correctly choosing similar properties.
Okay.
Accurate revenue projections based on selecting Yeah. similar properties. So we're learning how to select the right properties to compare, and then we're looking at how to then create the projection using a backwards first model. We look at the end outcome, how much revenue we want, and then we work our way back, right, to understand what the price should be. Okay? All right. So once we have this, then we can confidently project this projection and say, okay, hey, this is right? We did it for 1 month. I'm not going to go over the other months since we ran out of time, but it is pretty similar, right? So we say, how much money do you really want to earn? And then we just take that and we figure out what our base price can be. And that is how you come up with all this great stuff. Okay, all right. Let's go to Dominic. Any other questions? Or?
No, okay.
Okay. All right, Dominic, what would you like to learn on the next revenue management discussion?
I think.
Show us some of the revenue management things that you've been doing right here on your practice area, right? Because your
Okay.
area is empty right now.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to Tris. Tris has already put his thing in. Rizal, what do you want to work on the next one?
I think how to implement the revenue projection with the models.
Okay, implement revenue projection using model. Implement.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll put that in. Implement revenue projection using models. You mean just more time spent on the spreadsheet, yeah?
Like the Chiswa and the
More modeling, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, sure. Like what we did last time, we're trying to figure out. Okay, very good. Okay, that's good. That's good. I like doing that too. And over to Cynthia. What would you like to do more next time?
I'm ready to learn anything, sir.
All right, she's ready to learn anything. All right, if you bring some material, then yeah.
Okay.
Bring some material. Or if you're really ready to learn anything, you should try learning this stuff. This stuff is really good. So this stuff is actually, this is really heavy stuff, but it's actually, believe it or not, it's really interesting. These are all the different types of ways that you can model data. So StatQuest is pretty cool. I just discovered it recently. It takes a while to understand, honestly.
Yeah.
But if you watch it like every day, a few times, you'll finally get it. This stuff is how I put this on my LinkedIn. I put this on my LinkedIn because I finally understood what machine learning and artificial intelligence really does. We hear these terms a lot, machine learning, artificial intelligence. But what is it that machine learning actually does? So what machine learning does is it tries to predict what to do based on training data. So it'll look at like some data and then it will try to start predicting what needs to be done next. So that's like Google Translate. The training data is your, this is what I'm trying to translate. It produces a result and then it sees, did you actually use that result? Is that actually a good result? And then it then creates a change the next time you put in a new phrase to try to get better at that. But the way that it's done is using these techniques here. This is pretty cool. So that can be something we discuss about. Now, one last final thing. All right, so these are 3 lines, and this represents airline passengers per month, and this represents the data from 2010 to 2016. All right, I'm gonna ask a question. So which graph, this is 3 different regions in the world. One region, the United States, the second region is Europe, and the third region is Asia. Which line, Dominic, do you think represents Asia?
Purple one.
The purple line, yes. Passenger traffic on Asian airlines is going up and up every year. That's actually really good. So majority of our future customers will be from Asia. That's what it really means, right? Yeah, and it's steadily increasing. So definitely think about that, right? Which represents the United States? Over to Rizal.
the green.
Green, yes, very good. The U.S. is very stable because there's a fair balance of business and leisure travel. Leisure travel peaks at the same time in August. You can see that happens August every year. There's a peak, peak, peak. It's very consistent. It's very seasonal, right? But in the United States, basically, during regular times, there's also a lot of travel too as well for business. And also, the United States has a kind of a funny spike in November because they have Thanksgiving, right? So Asia does too now, apparently. I don't know what that's about. But maybe there's another sort of holiday somewhere in the end of the year. But there's kind of another little thing here. Europe is very, very high cycle.
Summer, yeah.
Europeans, hey, guess what? 3 European airlines failed this year. Did you know that?
No.
3 European airlines discount carriers failed this year. Do you know why they failed? And they all failed in the same month. They all failed in September.
Because snow.
No cash flow in September.
No passenger.
No passenger and no cash flow. So airlines collect money for travel before the person travels, right? So they're getting cash flow up until September. But when September comes, nobody's traveling, no cash flow.
Yeah.
And a lot of paying airports, a lot of paying, employees, a lot of paying for airplanes and paying for gas.
Yeah.
And that's why they all fail in September. It's really funny. European airlines have high failure rates because of this high swing. This means that you make a lot of money for about 1 month and then you're broke for 3 months. And then you make a lot of money again and then you're broke. And then you make a lot of money and you're broke. So in Europe, you should actually save if you're a European travel company because your your travel isn't going to come very often. So this is pretty interesting, and this is also pretty encouraging. So I think it's a good time to develop the rest of Indonesia because we'll probably see more domestic travel in the future. Good, yeah? Okay, good stuff. This is how data can actually help you make better decisions. All right, that's it for revenue management. Thank you all for coming and see you all next time.